Okay, here they talk about the traffic, and yeah, they had this traffic impact report, and there's a couple of findings. I'm just gonna talk about this high point finding. Number six was interesting. So they still have to coordinate with the city and the surrounding community to determine if potentially parking restrictions would be the fix for the 20-foot road that goes into a 22-foot road in internal road. Um, these reports, I'll probably go into a little more detail later, but these traffic reports, I'm just jumping to the picture in the traffic report, but they do a few interesting things. One is they focus almost solely on peak traffic, which is important, but obviously just one facet of your overall driving experience if you ever drive outside of peak hours. And this is the part that the 1, 2, 3 here I want to show is very interesting because this whole study is predicated on studying three intersections. So as people, this is the main access road, Pamoa, um, and this is a three-way stop. They study this. This is another stop sign, Kolowalu, and here's a light. This is the only traffic light they have, East Manoa and Kolowalu. These are the three study points in this entire report. And spoiler alert, but their claim is that traffic flow is pretty good now, and it's gonna be pretty good again. Um, Interesting, I've seen these reports before for other projects in Manoa. Um, this here is the I don't know famous or infamous East Manoa Oahu intersection, currently rated D or F. So it's a very poor intersection currently, and I can't imagine it getting better. If you add the 378 cars, or the parking space cars from the parking spaces. This is the incredibly dangerous University Oahu, and then Alula stop sign. So it's where people, coming out here, they risk their lives going straight or turning left or whatever. Um, currently, and that I guess it's okay though. It's okay. They're not studied, so it's like they don't exist. So that's here we are with like public services. I thought this trash collection was noteworthy. Um, The project it will be serviced by a private refuse collection company. So what that means is it's not the city trash pickup. So I guess to me that means it's like the trash truck schedule, right? It's like you have private trucks coming up and down Pomo Road at different times than the current city trash pickup. So it's essentially um, that will have an impact, right? Depending on the hours of operation, and more noise and just more trucks instead of like one. Instead of the city coming once for the whole area, now the city comes for the current area, and private company has to come again down that same narrow Pomo Road. And of course, even if they get emergency access, I don't think the trash trucks would qualify as emergency use. So again, they would be using the Pomo Road. Okay, so I jumped down. This is page 67. This is part of the tree survey and kind of what they're going to do about the existing trees. Um, the arborist determined that there were 8 trees that were like highly recommended to be preserved in place. So they're technically not considered exceptional based on like this whatever rule, law, whatever. But the arborist said that 8 trees were you know, recommended to be preserved in place. And yeah, sure, they thought in the beginning that they want to do it, but then, um, due to extensive site grading and retaining walls, um, that it no longer they can't save anything. So they're just going to remove all 8 of the recommended trees to preserve. All 8 are going to be removed. Um, and among the other trees, they might try their best to uh, relocate um, some trees. And of course they're going to plant, what they want. That's pretty fair. If you look at the landscape pictures, and maybe in another video, but a lot of these trees currently, the ones that maybe could be removed, relocated, they're nice, large, mature trees, and um, the way that the site is, they're going to put trees in everyone's front yard, but because again these are much smaller lots, it's hard to think that some of the existing large mature trees would really have a place, in the new landscape design. It's I guess, I mean, they didn't really say, they just said they would try to save whatever they could, but if you look at the sizes of the trees that they want, maybe it doesn't really, I don't know if it matches, but okay, jump down to section 8.1. This is where they're going to discuss the general plans, the PUCDP, so the Primary Urban Center Development Plan, and they're going to discuss how this proposal fits in. And sure. So at a high level, these are very broad plans, covering a multitude of different objectives for the island, and Oahu for the island, this one. And so what they do is they kind of, I don't want to say cherry pick, but yeah, I'll say cherry pick the objectives that fit the what they're doing and point to them. So um, I kind of want to do another section where we kind of talk about what else is in these plans, but for the sake of just reviewing, they're pointing to the objectives that this proposal meets, and that's fine, right? I mean, it's not wrong. I mean, the we have a lot of targets and goals, and this checks some of those boxes. Yeah, for sure. Um, yep. So they pick the ones that they want to match, and then you can claim consistency, which is that's fine, I guess. Some of the phrasing here. So they're talking about a fair distribution of low and moderate income housing. They haven't really said what their pricing for these single family units are going to be. Um, they made statements saying that Manoa is too expensive at 1.1 to 1.4 million. Of course, those would be full size lots, right, at that price. But so they have, I would think they have to come under 1.1, right, because they're saying the 1.1 to 1.4 is too expensive. So that's the top. And at the bottom, we know that affordable housing, multifamily units can be, maybe 600K, And I think if it was single family units, like if they had tried to make these single family units at the affordable levels, that's probably an $800,000 price point right there. So I guess I'm saying um, the price point for this development, I would guess, is somewhere between 850 and 950 or something thousand. And oh yeah, guys, is that fair? Is that fair? And is that low and moderate income? I don't know. The other thing is it's all market sales. So I mean, fair distribution is totally like, it's to be determined by the seller, right? It's market. It's not. There's no assurances that it goes to a specific type of group. The proposal speaks a lot to this idea that young local families, right, which is great. I mean, everyone would love young local families to be able to start a life and whatever. But um, there's nothing in the sales that's gonna require that. And so this idea of the fair distribution is completely up to the seller, right? This developer, right? The seller. So PUCDP. So this is kind of interesting. The the current plan that's like the law is an old plan from 2004. We're currently going through these draft revisions currently to try to revise or update the PUCDP. So it's currently in draft state as like now. Um, so what's happening in this discussion, they're speaking almost specifically to the current plan that's actually the law, which is a 2004 plan. So I mean, it's not wrong, because that's the current like law. but they you know, they're saying they're consistent with that plan, which is the current plan on the books. But there was very little discussion on how this would fit into the draft plan that's trying to be passed right now. And there are a number of points in that draft plan. One could argue not as congruent, maybe as what they're stated. Just this thing right here for the 2004 plan.